Kus Zangpo, a warm welcome to Bhutan This Week. My name is Samtan Dolkar. Our top stories this week. His Majesty the King grants Laktam to almost 200 households receiving land kiddu in Genshari, Punakha. Scholarship students stuck at home due to travel restrictions start traveling to their universities abroad. And Para FC wins this year's BOB Bhutan Premier League Football Championship. Now the news in detail. His Majesty the King visited Lunana on Wednesday and granted Laktam to the 191 households who are receiving land kiddu in Genshari, Punakha.
Traditionally, the people of Lunana migrate south with their yak and horses during the winter months when it gets too difficult to live in the extremely harsh climate of Lunana. They live in tents or find rented accommodation in Wandi and Punakha during the winter months, allowing their animals to graze in fields while they trade and collect rations to take back in spring. In recent years, finding accommodation has been a growing challenge. His Majesty the King granted Khimsa land kiddu to the people of Lunana in Genshari to ensure that they have safe and comfortable winter homes when they come south. A Desung National Service Water Project team recently completed the work to bring water to the area. While in Lunana, His Majesty also visited the Pelden Hamil Hakang in Tenche and offered prayers. Kyalzang Chodin for BBS News.
Excess payment in construction, such as payment made for works that are not executed or less executed, constitutes a significant portion of the irregularities. According to the Royal Audit Authority, in such cases, the agencies are usually asked to recover the amount. However, the works are left incomplete or the quality is compromised. To solve these problems, the authority calls upon all the public institutions and officials that they will now be held accountable.
The recoveries are made with penalties, but the intended beneficiaries are deprived of the infrastructure.
A farm road is being constructed, but in the process, they left out the drainage. And then there has been cases where, in fact, drainage has not been met. But they have claimed in the bill, saying that drainage we have done. But then what we have been doing so far is, in fact, we are saying, okay, drain has not been constructed, so that amount you have claimed, you recover the amount. But that's not the case because the quality is affecting. So we are saying, we will not recover the amount. We will say, drain has not been done, so you do it. So that is the accountability.
Moreover, he added that the head of the agency will be held accountable. The annual audit reports saw an increasing trend of unresolved irregularities with no improvements.
Agencies are creating the opportunities. So we are saying, look at what are those opportunities and stop creating those opportunities. That's what the agencies should be doing. In fact, the opportunities, as I said, a leniency on the part of agencies and opportunity for the perpetrator. And then agency protecting the employee is an opportunity actually for them. In lack of internal controls, if there are no proper internal controls, it is an opportunity for the perpetrator to commit such irregularities or commit such fraudulent practices.
The 2020 annual audit report shows unresolved irregularities of over 2 billion Yultrum, which was an increase of nearly 45% compared to 2019. Sringzam, BBS News.
No armed force personnel, no Disup would have thought that they would have to guard the border from livestock. But that is exactly what they are doing in Samte. And even though they have helped keep the global pandemic at bay, this is one pandemic they are struggling to fight off.
This has become a daily routine for the farmers of Rinchimpu, Samten Chuchiok in Yusilse Gyok.
We have to guard our fields during the daytime. And at night, since we are not allowed to come out of our homes, the Desups and the army help us guard our fields. But at times when we cannot stay on guard, the animals damage our crops. It has become a struggle.
Today, the paddy plants are at the growing stage, and if exposed to such damages frequently, farmers fear that the yield will be poor.
디지다 차침에 차님에 차 숨숨레서 다니라 다 암치나 같이다 자 테니기 디스가 임발라 다 자테니기 디스가 셈친 디스가라서 샤베 다 포자미도 봤어 된 자테미도 봤어.
Without any concrete walls or barbed wires along the border, cattle and goats from the Gatia village in West Bengal can be seen entering the Bhutanese land easily. At times, villagers say a few of the people also sent their animals intentionally to the other side. According to the farmers, Indian farmers also grew paddy here in the past, and such problems rarely happened.
Earlier, we did not face such a problem. We do our paddy cultivation here, and a few Indians also used to do farming here before the pandemic. But now, it is as if they are not happy that only we are growing crops. They release their animals deliberately towards our land and they damage our crops.
Frustrated over the matter, farmers are now discouraged to continue the practice of growing paddy. Already acres of paddy fields are left fallow in the area.
다 디지에서 나 중디스게다 차로레 프로그램레다 아니 솔루션 간에 테마 수바진데다 같이 상패데다 같이 디소 짱라자 미데님에 스슈네랑 아이비어진데
उनीहरुले जबरजस्ती तानेर पार गर्दिँदैछ इन्डियाबाट.
Some of the Indians are sending their animals deliberately to our side. When we request them not to do so, they challenge us. They threaten us by saying that when lockdown opens, they will see us. From next year, I'm planning to stop growing paddy.
हाफ जस्तो पुग्न आँटिसक्यो खाएर.
The Samchi Dzongkhag and the Gyeok administration last year has constructed about 4 kilometers of trench to block the movement of animals, but it has failed to serve its purpose.
다 나같이 쓰는 거 찾습기 때들이 르심에 장라 잡지 슌들라 다루라 대 공기 마기 미두스기 베다 마치라게 냠으로 찾기 베베 대 공기 노다 라디오스 다루라 대 사고 로지컬레 탑시 냐갑기 톨레베 야수 대 야수 심랑 같이 토디 대 가라 대 다시 공로 시두선 베라 대 가라 다 맵틴 다니베 따모디 아니베 텐디 유슈닐라.
And the problem is not only in USLC Gyeok. Other bordering Gyeoks also expressed similar concerns during the recent Dzongkhag Tsokdu. The Dzongkhag Tsokdu decided to write to the Panchayat in West Bengal and also inform the SSB, the border force of India, concerning the matter. The Dzongkhag administration will also see the possibilities of constructing trenches or installation of barbed wire facilities along these affected areas. For Pasang Doji in Samtsi, Sringdandup, BBS News.
The works to construct a new Bailey Bridge over Wanchu along the Damchu-Ha bypass has begun. The groundbreaking ceremony was held on Thursday. Another bridge had to be planned in the area after the previous bridge collapsed in February. It was almost complete.
The project Dentak will execute the works. Currently, they are clearing an access road to the new bridge site. The new bridge will be constructed 800 meters downstream from the location of the previous bridge.
And we can encounter unforeseen issues during construction. So, as I mentioned earlier, the attempt is to reach the bridge site expeditiously, prepare the bridge site and the abutment.
He said the works are executed in close consultation with the Works and Human Settlement Ministry.
We have done extensive consultations with the Department of Roads and the Government of Bhutan, and they have assisted us in selection of the bridge site as well as the design of the abutment and the bridge. So we are in close coordination and consultation with the Ministry and the Department of Roads, and we are confident that all is as safe as is required.
The bridge will be 60 meters long, which is less than half the length of the previous bridge. Although its deadline has not been fixed, officials said the work is expected to take about 6 months. The Government of India is funding the project worth almost 60 million Newton. Choni Dema for BBS News.
The COVID pandemic has caused unprecedented disruption in various areas. In the education sector, Students who got selected to study abroad on scholarship had to take online classes since travel restrictions prevented them from going to their colleges. With the situation improving, the scholarship students have now started flying out to their respective universities.
According to the Department of Adult and Higher Education, with international restrictions now getting relaxed, they are trying to send out all the scholarship students to their respective universities. Out of more than 170 students who got selected for scholarships this year, almost 100 of them have already left the country. A group of 9 students are scheduled to leave for Canada in the coming days.
We have actually started our online class on 9th of July, and it has been almost 2 months, and I can't say that it is 100% effective, but as far as I'm concerned, it is actually going well.
The department says the impact hasn't been very big since students were able to study through online classes.
Few students couldn't reach the university. They are taking online classes, and especially the students in India, they are here, and they are, I think, going through the online classes.
So far, the department has sent almost 300 students abroad on scholarship since the pandemic began. Among them was the first batch of technical and vocational education and training students being sent abroad. Kinzang Haden, PBS News.
Taking staff attendance and conducting class tests have become way easier at Tang Central School in Bhutan. Thanks to an initiative of a teacher, the school now uses QR codes to record staff's attendance and Google Workspace to perform a host of other activities.
Today, when teachers enter their office in the morning, they no longer have to write their names in the attendance register and sign. Open the school's QR code app on the phone, scan, and register the details. That's all it takes to record their attendance. The office assistant receives all the information in real time on her computer screen. Sonam Doji, a biology teacher in the school, voluntarily developed the system. He got his motivation from a similar application in Samsi College of Education when he was doing his master's degree.
I saw some lecturers using a similar application occasionally in Samsi. From there, I started working on developing it further and customizing it for school-level functions. The Google Sheets and Google Forms have to be linked and a QR code generated to create the system.
It is not a complicated application, and developing it doesn't demand more than a good internet connection. Sonam says it takes only about 2 hours to create it. However, the convenience it offers to teachers and students is huge. Besides the attendance purpose, teachers use it to apply for leave and uploading lesson plans as well.
As all the performance records, lesson plans and work quality can be accessed from a common interface, it becomes easier for me as an administrator to keep track of my staff's works. As everything is updated online, there are no problems of losing documents and issues of timeliness.
As the teaching materials, lesson plans and other documents are backed up online, even if your laptops crash, the documents will still be available.
The system helps us in observing self-discipline as all the activities as well as attendance records are registered in real time. It pushes us to complete tasks on time.
The school conducted the midterm exam of one of the classes online on trial. It proved to be a success, and now science teachers often conduct class tests online.
As we have been appearing online class tests often, the experience would benefit us when we grow older. However, as the internet speed is mostly slow in the school, loading questions and submitting our answers take time.
We have had quite an experience using such e-learning applications. If at all there is another lockdown in the country, we would be able to study virtually with ease.
It has become easier for teachers to keep records for assessment. It will become mandatory once the country implements Bhutan Professional Standards for Teachers, a framework for the development of teachers. With the new normal curriculum focusing on the use of digital platforms, this system will come in handy for teachers and students of Tang Central School, day by day. Kipchu, BVS News, Pumthang.
Sexual harassment at workplace or anywhere for that matter can be a traumatizing experience. Health experts say victims are often shaken up by intrusive memories, flashbacks and nightmares and require treatment. However, according to officials with the NCWC, many do not seek counseling or any form of treatment.
An employee of the Bhutan Power Corporation who recently reported a sexual assault incident by her supervisor says she has been disturbed by the incident. She is now seeking counseling at Renew.
After that incident, I even thought of committing suicide. The counselor advised me to speak up and fight for myself. They also said that if we don't come forward, men will take advantage of us. I feel good after getting counseling.
The Renew is providing counseling services to 2 more who experienced similar incident. A total of 6 women reported sexual harassment cases to the Renew and underwent treatment. According to a counselor from the National Commission for Women and Children, many who experience sexual harassment do not report the incident or seek help. He says it is critical to get counseling since it will aid in the recovery process.
Especially when it comes to the issues related to sexual harassment, the first thing that is important or the first intervention that they should receive is in counseling support. Will help in strengthening their mental health, which will also help them in moving forward.
The Penal Code of Bhutan defines sexual harassment as any unwelcome physical, verbal or non-verbal abuse of a sexual nature. It is a petty misdemeanor with a prison term of 1 month to a year. Bimasaldun Singh, BBS News.
Bhutan took another leap as it strives towards creating a sustainable energy system. The Economic Affairs Ministry officially inaugurated a 180 kilowatt solar power plant in Rubisa Gyeok of Ondifotang recently. Given the rising energy demand, officials said such projects will help diversify the country's renewable energy landscape, which at the moment is dominated by hydropower. This power plant at Rubisa is the country's first solar power plant that is connected to an electrical grid. It was commissioned in August and has been supplying electricity to the local grid for distribution. The plant generates enough energy to cover 80 to 90 households. The director of the Department of Renewable Energy said that the project demonstrates the viability of solar power plants on a utility scale.
Domestic demand for electricity will only increase and is seen increasing very rapidly in recent times. Hence, solar plants such as this one can augment hydropower supply to meet our rapidly increasing domestic electricity demand.
According to the Economic Affairs Ministry, about 30% of Bhutan's energy consumption today is met through electricity, mainly via hydropower plants. Bhutanese workforce carried out the project, including the design, construction and installation, among others. It took them 7 months to complete the work. The solar plant is part of Bhutan's COVID-19 response and recovery project. Supported by the UNDP, the government of Japan funded the project worth more than $200,000.
Through the implementation of this project, I really hope that we will demonstrate to the people of Bhutan that solar is a viable energy source with cost comparable to the latest hydropower projects.
As per the Renewable Energy Management Master Plan 2016, Bhutan could produce 12,000 megawatts of solar energy. However, as of now, the majority of it remains untapped. For Chengadoji in Ondifodang, Samten Dolker, BBS News. It won't be long before the North Thimphu residents get to enjoy a smooth ride between Chubachu and Jungshina. The Tomde plans to complete constructing the much-awaited 4-lane road connecting the two places by the end of this month.
This 3-kilometer stretch between Bhutan Telecom and Jungshina is 90% complete. The Tromde has blacktopped about 300 meters of the road so far.
We aim to complete it by October end. We are working hard to meet the target. The estimated cost would be sufficient to complete the project. We are trying to make the road as best as we can, so it's taking time. We will also repair the other affected areas along the road.
The 4-lane road's construction, which began in May last year, was supposed to complete in a year. However, it was delayed by the lockdowns. The cost of the project also doubled to 300 million Newton as a huge wall had to be constructed along the way. Today, despite the delay, people using the road are happy with the work's progress. They no longer have to put up with the bumpy, dusty and muddy road.
lamdi de datu bewa chindi loktop sungtab gi datu dabes chuni la hema da chepdala hema bewa chindi chap bane beoda lam mapali mithela nale.
Once the stretch is ready, the Tromde also plans to redesign the junction below the Bhutan Telecom head office to reduce traffic congestion. Ishitama for BBS News.
Since the start of this year's BOB Bhutan Premier League season, Paro FC and Thimphu City have dominated most of the matches. The two giants eventually clashed on 2nd October in the final match of the season, which would decide the winner. The game ended in a draw, but Paro FC took the title thanks to a 2-point lead over their opponents.
With only one loss for both clubs in the entire season, many knew that either one would be the champions of the league. Before the big match yesterday, the two giants were separated by only 2 points, with Paro FC leading the league table. The game started with only a limited number of spectators. Although the match was broadcast live on BBS, the thrill of the game made people peek from the rooftops and along the road on the hillside over the Wochu Sports Arena. Thimphu City FC started strong in the first half of the game, pressuring the home team to a more defensive approach. The visitors' goal came in from a long throw-in, which was converted by attacker Dawatsring in the 40th minute of the game. The first half of the match ended in favor of Thimphu City FC. However, the home team equalized at the 60th minute in the second half. A free kick from near the penalty box was converted into a marvelous header by striker Hishedoji. The back-and-forth battle kept everyone on their toes until the final whistle. Paro FC supporters and officials rushed onto the field with tears of joy and celebrated.
I was quite sure that they are going to bring about some changes in the attacking third, because for us it was enough with a draw. But they had to win at any cost. So basically they would go all out. I felt that. So we basically overloaded in the midfield, and even our attackers were back in defending. Our strategy worked quite well.
With a cash prize of 2 million Newton, he added that it would help in the sustainability of the club. Thimphu City FC stood second, followed by Transport United FC in the third position. 10 teams from Punakha, Wangdifodra, Paro and Thimphu took part in the league. This is Ringdandup, BBS News.
Well, that's all we have for this week. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and stay safe.